National Treasury says the downgrade could not have come at a worse time for the country. The country is still reeling in a recession, and now the impact of the coronavirus on the economy cannot be ignored. Credit rating analyst Savashan Pillay agrees.
I was actually hoping that Moodys would have held on with this downgrade decision until November, but they've acted. This dreaded downgrade is now upon us. Moodys indicated that our growth prospects have reduced. Our fiscal deterioration is quite significant. They anticipate our fiscal deficit to GDP to hit about 8.5%. Our debt, when you include government guarantees, they anticipate it to reach about 91% in 2023. They've also highlighted the coronavirus and the vulnerable state of the South African economy. From that perspective, they've acted.
The sovereign downgrade will further see South Africa being excluded from the World Government Bond Index. This will trigger billions of rands in capital outflows as global investors who track the index are forced to sell.
That would take place at the end of April and not in March, and that's due to the coronavirus. So you would see a bit more of a spike in bond yields, a bit more of a weakness in the currency in the lead up to that.
In a statement, National Treasury says it's concerned and trembling in its boots about what's coming in weeks and months. It says over the short to medium term, government remains committed to implementing structural economic reforms to address the weak economic growth, constrained fiscus and the ailing state-owned companies.
Government would obviously need to make a concerted effort towards a contingency plan to get us back to investment grade. If you look at the figures to get there, it's not the easiest. So, if you look at S&P, non-European countries take on average just over 11 years. With Moodys and Fitch, it's just over 8 years. So, it's a long time. My personal view is that South Africa should take a significant economic pro-growth stance going forward, similar to what Hungary did. they did that and they got there in 4 years. Portugal as well. They went through two corporate rate tax cuts within that period. It took them a bit longer than Hungary, but just based on the inequalities within the country, I think that the government is now in a position whereby they can adopt ultra-aggressive economic policies. They should obviously do that. That burden of Moodys is now off their shoulders. So they can look at other ways to negate this.
Moodys says given the negative outlook, a rating upgrade is unlikely in the near future. It says it would likely change the rating outlook to stable if the government's medium-term fiscal consolidation were to proceed broadly in line with the rating agency's central expectations. Diabo Seto, SABC News, Johannesburg.